So, good morning, good evening, good night, everyone. Welcome back to Lana's Little Things with me, Dr. Lana, specialist gerontologist, talking all things on living agelessly, bridging generational gaps, caregiving in families, you know how that goes, entrepreneurship, and just life itself. And we are approaching the end of September 2024. Where has the year gone? Oy. We're also approaching the end of Special Senior September. September, as you know, is the month of older persons. It is also Caregiving Day. Yes, we embrace and we continue that on the 1st of October with Older Persons Day. But this entire month has brought a lot of thoughts on really what aging and healthy aging is all about. Ageless aging, if you will. And I thought, so I've been talking to a lot of older persons, including my dad. Yes, dad, you're an older person, just saying. And things like just being able to live normal lives, age at home healthily, continue to age within your community and not be, you know, put aside or set in a corner, if you will. Feel the reality, yes, of aging, but not the disruption and the negativity that is can be associated with aging. And what better way can that be than to embrace all those principles in one lump sum for the end of September? The United Nations actually for the decade of 2020 to 2030, and we are practically in the middle of that coming to, is a decade of healthy aging. Who knew? I know that you're thinking that the first 2, 3 years of that decade have been disruption, but it's still the principles are sound, and the principles of healthy aging are embraced in actually the principles of the human rights of older persons. And so I'm just going to focus tonight for me, wherever you are, on those five principles. There are five principles, and those are core, but then there are 18 total sub principles, if you will. So, what are those five principles? Well, there are independence, participation, care, self fulfillment, and dignity. And we're not going to go into all of them, all 18 right now, but I invite you to have a look on each of those points and see where in there you can, if you're a family caregiver, if you're a friend of an older person, if you're an older person yourself, how do you embrace your own basic human right? So, without further ado, we'll talk about each of these, and I'll use one of the points in each of them and we'll talk about it just a little bit, okay? So, as it relates to independence, principle number one is older persons should have access to adequate food, water, shelter, clothing, and healthcare through the provision of income, family, and community support and self help. I love the self help part because that embraces your right to independence. So, under independence, yes, you have the right to all these things. You also have the right to do for yourself. And don't you as an older person want to do for yourself? No, who really wants someone to be completely, that you're completely dependent on somebody? I don't know of anyone who really wants to be completely dependent and reliant on anyone. So even if whatever it is, whatever your circumstances may be, whatever you can do within those circumstances as a family or as an older person, you have the right to decide how you embrace your own health within your right to access these basic things. I also thought under independence, point number five, principle number five, old sub principle number five, older persons should be able to live in in environments that are safe and adaptable to personal preferences and changing capacities. Principles of aging in place, healthy aging in place. You want to be home. You want to be in your own home. You want to be within your community. You have the right to live in an environment that is safe for you, where you know the people, where you know the place, where you know your home, where you are home, where you feel safe and sound. Now, there may not always be the case. That may not always be practical. I understand that. And there are different changes that happen in families, believe you me, where it might be just too much of a pressure on one or two persons. If there is a challenge or disruption physically or mentally or otherwise in an older person, that really doesn't allow them to age in place. But it should still be an environment that is safe and adaptable. Under participation, principle number eight, I love this one. Older persons should be able to seek and develop opportunities for service to the community and to serve as volunteers in positions appropriate to their interests and capabilities. Mentorship. We talk about mentorship all the time. I mean, who knows everything? Uh 30s, 40s, 50s, even what wisdom, what a storehouse of knowledge and wisdom, really, which is applied knowledge to whatever was your capacity, what was your strength. You can bring that to someone. So, volunteering in the workplace is a place for older persons, and there is a right for them to do that. They have a right to participate in doing that. And who does that benefit? Not just the older person who feels as though, yes, I have a sense of belonging, but it also benefits the community. It benefits those who are junior in the workplace to actually see how workplace policies are adopted. Obviously, nothing wrong with that. Care. Principle number 12. Older persons should have access to social and legal services to enhance their autonomy, protection, and care. Now, that legal thing, we're not going to because Lord knows I don't know, I don't know nothing about the deep, deep, deep aspects of the legal issue, the legal fraternity. But when it comes to being able to decide on what your legal rights are, what your financial legal rights are to yourself, and to reduce, yeah. Sadly, we the goal is elimination, but we'll go for reduction of elder abuse. That's for real. So the fundamental sub principle of the human right of care is that you have the right to access social and legal services. You do. Self fulfillment, principle number 4. Under that, sub principle number 16, older persons should have access to the educational, cultural, spiritual, and recreational resources of society. Now, here in the Caribbean, older persons definitely, for the most part, quite a religious society. Very, very, it's a community, but it's also community with your heavenly Father. And as a Christian, that's my belief too. We all acknowledge a supreme being. We all acknowledge that we don't have all the answers, that we're too small. I am too small. You're too small. We're all too small to do this by ourselves. We're too small in this vast universe and have a supreme being who we look to for that guidance, for support. No matter how old you are, you will always be a child of God. Older persons need to know that they're still a child of God, that they have access to where they want to worship. They have access to where they want to be educated. They have access to recreation, to communing with their peers, to getting together with their friends. Don't we all want to be together with our friends? No man is an island. No woman is an island. They also have the right to really be, to feel that fulfillment also. We were talking about the workplace earlier. Retirement can sometimes be a very sad place for older persons. And that's a shame because that is primarily where they would have put their years of dedication and service and knowledge. And they made mistakes and they learned from them. Then they became more senior. And again, the storehouse of and possibilities for mentorship fulfill a sense of self, a sense of, you know what, I am still valuable, which we all are. We're all valuable. Older persons have that storehouse that we don't have, that younger persons just don't have. Just, you cannot have 60, 70 years experience without having lived 60 or 70 years. It's just a fact. So embrace that self fulfillment. You have the right to that. And finally, dignity. Principle number 5, dignity, and sub principle number 18. Well, 17 has to do with being free of exploitation. I can encourage you to look at principle 17. Principle number 18 is the one that really struck me. Older persons should be treated fairly, regardless of age, gender, racial or ethnic background, disability, or other status, and be valued independently of their economic contribution. So, do you have to give money to be worth the while? Do you have to be uh, way up there? Do you have to be of a certain culture or color or gender to be valued as an older person? To be valued, period? No, it is a basic right for you to enjoy the dignity of just being human. All of us deserve the dignity of just being human. That's pretty much it. So we embrace these 5 principles: independence, participation, care, self fulfillment, and dignity. As we close September for 2024, older persons are with us every day. We're all getting older. Every single one of us. If we live, we'll get older. We get older every day. Embrace each other, understand each other, empathize with each other. Bring compassion to all of our relationships. Bring compassion to ourselves. Older person, bring compassion to yourselves. Make peace with the past in the present so that it helps for a better future. From my heart to yours, for the last week of special senior September, just embrace each other, embrace the principles, embrace the basic human right you have in the older person. Until we see each other again next month, happy Older Persons Day on October 1st. Mwah. Bye bye.